Made it to Vermont. I hate toll roads. I've done pretty well to avoid tolls so far on this trip, but I did encounter one when I was in Illinois. I accidentally got on I think it was the 90 South tollway or something like that, and I ended up trying to get off at the next exit, and then the thing was like an automated basket which collects toll money, but I didn't have any change. I only had dollar bills. So I took the dollar bill and I like showed it to the camera and I stuck it in the basket, but then I also drove through it and realized that there was a way to pay online. So I ended up paying for the toll twice, which was really annoying and only added to my hatred of tolls overall. Aside from that experience and then the surprise walking toll that we encountered yesterday coming back from Niagara Falls, things have worked out pretty well. I use the Google Maps avoid tolls option when I'm driving around, so it just pretty much takes me away from all those major throughways and things like that. And I would much rather just drive on these back roads with these beautiful scenic countrysides than be on an interstate somewhere paying, you know, $10 to drive across the state or whatever it is. So I kind of enjoy it. I think it's a better way to see the country anyways, and it's only taken me a few miles out of the way. Very rarely is it worth it, at least I find, is it worth it to pay that money than it is to just, you know, use an extra gallon of gas and drive a little bit slower. Made it to Burlington a little while ago, and I've just been exploring and hanging out here by Lake Champlain. It is absolutely beautiful, guys. This is the first time I've ever been to Burlington. Unfortunately, the weather today has been pretty terrible. Driving up here, and even once I got here, it was just pouring rain and pretty miserable outside, so I haven't really had the chance to explore too much for fear of losing my camera equipment in the pouring rain. Fortunately though, it looks like we have a little lull in between rainstorms right now, so I'm going to take advantage of this time and try to explore as much as I can. So we're nearing the end of the road trip here. Got a couple more days left, and then I'm planning to get back to Massachusetts and start spending time with family and hanging out with some friends from around there and taking it easy for a couple of weeks. Obviously, it's not the end of my travels forever or anything like that, but there will be a few weeks that I'm going to be not traveling as much and just kind of be more stationary. I was originally planning to be on the road for about another week or so and then make my way back to Massachusetts to start spending time with family, but I've decided to push everything forward about a week and try to get back as soon as I can. There's a big reason for that. Right now, there's a couple of hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean, Jose and Hurricane Irma, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of, which are looking like they're going to be sending some really good surf up the entire eastern seaboard over the next week or so. That being said, they could also be horribly devastating for the United States and for Florida, and then also for parts of the Caribbean as well. So I'm praying and hoping that somehow these storms avoid making landfall and they just go out to sea, which is exactly where, as a surfer, you want them to be. Anybody that knows East Coast and Gulf Coast surfing knows that the best waves are either in the middle of the winter time during a nor'easter swell or in the fall during hurricane season. So I'd really like to get home as soon as I can and get back to some of my home breaks in Rhode Island and try to surf them. I haven't surfed there in years, guys, so I'm really excited to get the chance to do this, and I'm going to try to get back there as soon as I can. Having grown up surfing on the East Coast, though, I do find that everyone really builds the hype for these kind of hurricane swells. Everyone gets really, really excited. You go the entire summer for the most part getting maybe 2 or 3 good days of waves, and then other than that, it's usually pretty choppy, pretty messy, pretty small, and a lot of the times completely flat. So when you get like a real swell like this, everyone gets really, really excited before it happens, and there's all this hype, all this like amped up emotion, and then it happens, and a lot of the time it's a little bit of a letdown. It doesn't end up being as good as everyone was thinking that it could get. You never know, but I get the feeling that could possibly happen with this first storm with Irma here, simply because it's just tracking in the wrong direction and it's going towards the Gulf instead of curling up the eastern seaboard away from land, which is the way that we would prefer it to be. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm not going out of my way for nothing and this trip isn't being cut short for nothing, but I'm going to try to make the most of it and just enjoy it. For some reason, I always thought Burlington had way more people than this. Like, I thought the population was in the hundreds of thousands, but it's actually only 40,000. It's a really small city. It's also really beautiful, but the weather is starting to get really bad again, so I'm gonna call it a day, I think. I'm pretty happy with the amount that I got to explore here in Burlington this afternoon. Like I said, it's a pretty small city, so there really wasn't too much to see, and the weather was absolutely terrible, so it really wasn't too enjoyable to be walking around outside anyways. A big reason for me coming to Burlington was to kind of make the city act as like a springboard into Montreal. Tomorrow, I'm planning to do a day trip to Quebec. I've never been there before, so I'm really excited to check it out, but I'm only going to go for the day, so I figured it'd be good to stay here tonight or somewhere around here tonight, go in there tomorrow morning early, and then make my way back in the evening. The plan for tonight is just to grab a quick bite to eat for dinner somewhere and then sit down and edit for a couple hours, get caught up on some work. I'm planning to stay at an I-87 rest area just south of the Canadian border tonight. I'm hoping that it works out. It looks like it's a really nice rest area from what I can tell. I don't know if they allow overnight parking or not, but we'll see if it works. If not, there's a city just north of that looks like it has a Walmart and a couple other places that I might be able to get away with parking for the night. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up and head into Canada. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.